Demon Lord Leon left to meet with a difficult character, a woman with flowing silver hair and a distinctive pair of long pointy ears. She sank deeply into a luxurious chair, beautiful like a scene straight out of a painting. She was a high elf and the gorgeous emperor of the Sorcerer's Dynasty Sarion, Elmesia Sarion. The two of them sat facing each other under the gazebo set in a breathtaking garden. A faint trail of steam drifted from the teacup that had just been served, and its rich fragrance was relaxing. Maids waited by the side to refill the tea before it got cold. The two silently observed each other for a while. Elmesia spoke first. As always, you are a man of few words, Leon-kun. It's been so long since you visited me. It's gonna be quite boring if you continue being like that. Her tone was rather intimate. It was only natural, since Elmesia and Leon had known each other for an extensive period of time. Not only were they close as rulers and important business partners, but as friends as well. The fact that Leon was permitted to enter this venue showed a glimpse of the level of their friendship. He was already acquainted with Elmesia even before he became a demon lord. At the time, Leon was still called a hero, and had operated within this land within the boundaries of Sarion. The two had been friends ever since. I wouldn't smile considering the predicament I'm in, Leon said. But I seldom see you smile as is. Does that really matter? I don't have the time for it. We should cut to the chase. Ah, right, I got some desserts from Yoshida-san's shop, do you want some? Elmesia offered, interrupting Leon. As if on cue, her servants pulled up the dining cart and began promptly serving the cakes. I'm not a fan of sweets. But this is so delicious. Ah, the cookie seems to have tea leaves blended in. It's not that sweet. I heard they called this a matcha cookie. Fine, I'll eat then. It's no use arguing with Elmesia, Leon judged based on his own experience. The same could be said for Demon Lord Rimuru. Leon felt that all these difficult characters had a common trait. They were all woefully stubborn. And as a result, Leon had given up on them a long time ago. Suppressing the anxiety welling within, he gingerly reached out for a cookie. So sweet. Is that still too sweet for you? No, it's not too bad. Ho, you really aren't the straightforward type. Anyway, it doesn't matter. What brings you here today? Are you going to ask me whether or not I've seen some kids in Demon Lord Rimuru's kingdom? Elmesia guessed. Leon was relieved. She's just like always. I can never let my guard down against this woman. Has she already gotten hold of my situation? With that being said, this conversation would go a lot faster. Leon adjusted his approach immediately. Yes. Demon Lord Rimuru seems to have a rather strong opinion about me. It's likely because one of my previous subordinates came into contact with him and got something into his head. I am aware. Shizuizawa, was it? That champion nicknamed the Conqueror of Flames. She is even quite famous in this country. How did you know? My relationship with Shizu should have been highly classified. Oops, how about we get to the real business? Aren't you short on time? Leon felt a little irritated. And who do you think is wasting my precious time? He wanted to shout at Elmesia but managed to hold back. Leon decided to cut to the chase. Right, then, I suppose. I've been planning to send an invitation to Rimuru in the near future. I want to resolve our misunderstanding. Moreover, antagonizing that guy would be way too dangerous. It was quite rare for Leon to be dragged around the ear like this. He could hold his own in conversation even while confronting Gie, yet he was hopeless against Elmesia. If it's you, surely you would be able to win against Rimuru, no? Elmesia asked Leon almost teasingly. But Leon wasn't so easily provoked, either. It's not a matter of whether I can win or not. It's meaningless to antagonize him. There isn't any benefit to it, and on the contrary, there are way too many downsides. Haven't you come to the same conclusion? Leon conveyed with a sharp glance. To that, Elmesia agreed. I suppose. Moreover, forging an alliance with him would be greatly beneficial. Even though I feared the possibility that he would change his mind, I still decided to move forward with the alliance anyways. Leon, naturally, would be inclined to see things the same way. He'd guessed that Elmesia would make a judgment along those lines. Indeed. I personally would welcome a negotiable demon lord. Considering Rimuru, when compared to the other demon lords, or rather, when compared to the former demon lords Sarion and Free, he's a better candidate to ally with. However, there's one problem. You mean what you've been doing all this time? No, well that's what Leon wanted to say. Considering his current circumstances, he couldn't deny it. In reality, Leon indeed had treated Shizu poorly, which led to this rocky relationship with Rimuru. Fine, it doesn't matter, Elmesia continued. I will make my move on the matter soon. If Tempest were to start a war with El Dorado, we would be very troubled, too. By the way, you were going to ask me about the children, right? I did see them. They seem to be enjoying themselves during the festival. Is this true? Then. One step at a time now. This cake is so delicious. Leon almost lost his usual calm demeanor. That's why I didn't want to come here, Leon cursed internally. But now wasn't the time for that. Well then, among the children, was there a young girl called Chloe. Asking straight on was a very risky move. Leon had always been very cautious, not knowing whether Elmesia would betray him or not. He always avoided doing things that could expose Chloe to danger. However, Leon also treated Elmesia as a friend. Under these dire circumstances, he didn't want to hold back. With all that in mind, Leon decided to reveal his secret. Have you finally decided to trust me? Very well, Demon Lord Leon, since you are willing to believe me, I shall generously offer you a helping hand, Elmesia announced to Leon, suddenly changing her demeanor. And so, the two began to exchange their information. There were 5 children under the protection of Demon Lord Rimuru. Kenya Misaki, Ryota Sakaguchi, Gail Gibson, Alice Rondo, and finally, Chloe Albert. The name of the girl Leon had been searching for all his life. Did you know this from the start? You're always a man of few words. Aren't you afraid that people may misunderstand you? You always keep your thoughts to yourself and expect to carry all the responsibilities on your own. Isn't this why even the champion Shizuizawa never trusted you, Axiro-san? Had Leon been willing to be more genuine with Shizu, the relationship between the two may have been very different. Elmesia was being sarcastic about it. In truth, she knew Leon had a kind heart, but knowing this was why she couldn't stand how he had become a fearful demon lord of this world. Leon replied. Quit with the boring speculation. I've sacrificed a shit ton of people for my own sake. If I can save her, I don't give a shit what method I use. I'll take any blame that comes with it. That was Leon's genuine thought. This man used to be the hero who protected humanity. When he realized kind deeds would no longer achieve his goals, he was willing to bloody his hands to get the job done. At that point it was too late to just sweep it under the rug. He didn't say these things as an excuse for his actions, it was simply what Leon lived by, his belief. You are as stubborn as a mule. Even Chloe-chan would dislike you being like this. Shut up already. Then, does Rimuru do a good job caring for the kids? If so, it seems like there's some dipshit who wants to lure me out for whatever scheme they have. Is it the Rossos, or maybe Cerberus? I even have my suspicions on Demon Lord Luminous. Isn't that what you are worried about, Leon-kun? Just how much do you know? Leon muttered, feeling powerless and utterly baffled. Reconfirming the massive intelligence network Elmesia possessed, he felt it was right to have asked for her help. He genuinely thought Elmesia was terrifying, not in terms of her combat ability, but her political strength. Indeed, anyone who could push Leon against the wall was no mere simpleton. Right then, I'll stop teasing you. According to my investigation, Tempest and Lubelius are free from strife. Demon Lord Luminous ostensibly decided to abide by the treaty she made with Demon Lord Rimuru in earnest. That is readily apparent by observing the actions of Holy Knight Commander Hinata. However, it is a lot harder to judge on the side of Cerberus. That organization is a complete mystery, and the higher-ups of it never really worked hand in hand either. They seem to have deliberately created this impression for outsiders, so the information I could get from within the organization was limited. Let's reserve our opinion on the matter for now. On the other hand, the Rosso family is certainly bad news. I heard that they've deployed all their reserve forces in the north to plan a secret assault on Lubelius. Even the agents of the Foreign Intelligence Agency of Siltrasso have all come out in full force. The whole area has been in a state of unrest because of it. The defenses of the northern countries were stretched thin, and Lubelius faced a war at their doorstep. These were the 2 major locations Elmesia pointed out. However, the information she just gave Leon had the potential to stir up great amounts of trouble. Then Gie would move out. That being the problem in question. To be more precise, Demon Lord Gie wouldn't move out, however, every one of his subordinates under the sun would rampage. If Gie were to move out personally, no matter who confronted him, the world would likely be destroyed. Elmesia knew this all too well herself. But even if it were just his subordinates, it would still present a major crisis for humanity. The simple reason being that among Gie's subordinates were the green and blue primordials. Indeed, this problem has just gotten a bit too scary. If no one were to go and stop Gie's subordinates, the Western nations may be destroyed. Elmesia gazed at Leon, looking particularly troubled. Oi, Leon-kun, you're back to speaking in your old tone like from before, aren't you? I was just. You don't have to act tough and play cool all the time. It's so cute when you do something like this, but I don't have the time to tease you right now. She even teased him during times like these. Leon was truly amazed by how easygoing Elmesia was. Sorry, I'm simply fixed on my goal. I'd like to negotiate with Gie, but that guy's got a bad temper. If I intervene without careful planning, it may cause the opposite effect. I understand. If we don't show him that we would fight back with our own strength, that demon lord would likely lose interest in humanity. Right now, the Holy Knight Order is in a bind, so I have no choice but to send the Magus to reinforce the guards of the Northern Realm. You can also hop on our dragon ship to get you to Lubelius. Can I really? Of course, didn't I tell you to take your time? Now then, you are on a clock, right? Hurry up and get going. The situation was more dire than Leon had imagined. Despite how strong he was, he could not teleport to somewhere he had never been before. Moreover, Lubelius was protected by a barrier. If he were to head to Lubelius now, air transport was probably the fastest. Leon gratefully accepted Elmesia's proposal with a "sorry for the trouble. If only you were always so straightforward." Right, I think this goes without saying, but Cerberus definitely wanted to drag you into all this. It's 100% a trap. To Elmesia's warning, Leon replied with 2 words. "I know." Elmesia answered, "I figured as much," with a tinge of sadness in her smile. Leon was just like this in the past. Never showing weakness in front of anyone, aiming to achieve his goal no matter what got in his way. That young man had an unbreakable will. He lived his life like a true hero. It was the same when he became a demon lord. And he's just as clumsy. Nothing has changed since back then. Elmesia had conflicted feelings about him. Before boarding the dragon ship, Leon suddenly recalled a warning he meant to relate to Elmesia. Turning towards her, he said, "Consider this a token of gratitude from me. The Yellow Primordial has disappeared. So be careful yourself." "Huh?" Elmesia blurted in shock. Leon cracked up seeing the look on her face. "Wasn't your hobby collecting information? Looks like you didn't know that. I'm happy though, as it seems like I was of some help to you." Leaving these words, Leon savored the taste of victory as he left. After Leon departed. This can't be true, right? 3 primordials, and it had to happen when half of the Magus was out. What the hell have I gotten myself into? But, had it not been the case, Leon likely would not have acted either. I guess I still have to sharpen my observational skills. Everyone just does as they please, Elmesia thought to herself, holding her head in her hands.